het WK voetbal in Zuid-Afrika leverden ze allebei topprestatie. Eén van hen floot zelfs de finale. Graag uw applaus voor de scheidsrechters Frank de Bleeckere en Howard Webb. Good evening, Frank. Good evening, Howard.
Good evening.
Howard, you came along with your friend Frank to promote his new book, Alles voor het vak, which is very kind of you. Have you read it?
I've looked at the pictures. They're in English.
But it might be rubbish. You haven't even read it.
It may be, but knowing Frank as I do, I think it'll be a good read. I
Yeah.
hope it is anyway.
You trust him?
A long way to promote the book. But,
Yeah. Frank, what's it about?
It's about my career. It's a sort of biography from the start till almost the end, because I have 1 year to go.
Yeah.
And it's a history of a referee, because my father, grandfather were also referee in the first
Really
division.
from a family of referees.
Yep. And then about my youth, I was also DJ and so on and so on. A lot of photos, then my experiences about the World Cup.
What kind of music did you DJ?
Oh, it was for a party also on local radios. It was a nice time, was a very nice time. And I think for every young referee, it's a book to learn how to manage some situations.
Okay. Howard, you were the referee in the final of the World Cup. Have your nerves already still down?
I'm still in counselling. It was a tough game.
Yeah, it was a tough ride.
It was for sure. But I think what we realised very early in the game was just how important it was to both teams. You know, both Spain and the Netherlands had not won the World Cup before, and they were so close. You know, one game away, and you could sense on the field at a very early stage the tension that the players were feeling, and they were desperate to win the World Cup for their country.
We'll talk about that later. Frank, your last game at the World Cup was the round of 16 match between Paraguay and Japan. Were you disappointed?
No, I was satisfied about my tournament, but in a tournament every detail must be okay, and there are things around refereeing who is also important in a tournament, and this was not the case in the World Cup in South Africa.
Mr. Cleese, did you watch the World Cup?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Fascinating. Well, I go back. I mean, I can remember the World Cup in 1954 in Switzerland, when the Germans were beaten by the Hungarians 8-3 in an early round, lost in the final 3-2. So I can remember.
When you watch the World Cup, are you cheering for Howard, for England, for the United States, where you live?
Well, I think I start by cheering for England, yes, definitely. Although there's certain teams that I've always liked other than England. But then if they start playing like they did, you know, you start losing enthusiasm. And I started sort of supporting the Germans. They were playing some terrific football, you know, and so were the Argentinians. So I don't care so much about the result. Let's put it like this. I'd love England to win, but only if they deserve it.
Yeah, if they play good football.
If they play good football.
Yeah. Katja, can you explain the offside rule in 1 sentence?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Cleese can.
The point is, if a player is in an offside position...
If he's involved in a play.
If he's involved... Well, why wouldn't he be?
If he's active.
OK, if he's active.
Or if he does subsequently get involved.
What?
Well, he's not offside if he isn't going to interfere with a play that's about to happen.
He's not offside if he isn't going to interfere with play that's about to happen?
Yeah.
How does anyone know what's about to happen? OK, look, it's simple. A player is offside when the linesman puts his flag up.
That's a correct explanation, Howard.
Yeah, that's my kind of answer.
We just learned something there, Frank, I think. Yeah.
Howard, you've beaten 2 records as a referee this year in the World Cup. Frank, can you tell which ones?
The youngest referee in the World Cup final?
Then maybe there are 3.
Yeah, he was.
The youngest? Yeah.
He was.
There's 2 more records.
Howard?
Well, I guess one has to relate to the number of cards in the final for sure, you know. And
Yes.
we beat that record within 50 minutes, I think.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It wasn't the intention. And the other one, I'm not so sure.
But the fact that you had 2 finals, the final of the Champions League and the final of the World Cup in the same year, you're the first one ever.
Yeah, and wonderful occasions to be involved in it. I mean, for a long time, being an Englishman, I've not been eligible to do the final because the English
was always
teams,
English teams
of course,
involved.
have done well. So when they didn't get through to the semi-finals this year,
You were cheering.
I wouldn't say I celebrated, but it gave us an opportunity to progress, which we were keen to take.
Howard, especially for you, we made a clip of all the cards you shown in the final.
Make yourself comfortable. It'll take a while.
Now, Howard, this is the most important match for everyone involved. How difficult is it to decide on a card in 5 seconds while you know the eyes of the world are watching?
Well, you're certainly
Not so difficult, apparently.
Yeah. You're certainly aware of the size of the occasion with something like the World Cup. I mean, it comes around once every 4 years. It's the pinnacle of the careers of the players and the coaches, and also of the referees, of course. And we know how much it means to everybody. And we were told as we left the tunnel to take charge of that game that something like 2.5 or maybe 3 billion people would be watching that game. So an amazing TV audience around the world. And I've yet to speak to anybody who didn't see the game. So clearly it was.
You didn't. Betta, you didn't? You didn't as well. You didn't even watch the final?
I was in the plane back to Belgium.
And not afterwards?
Yeah, afterwards
Yeah,
I
afterwards
saw it, but not directly on television.
I was doing the dishes.
Which was
It was
also
a good place to be, I'm sure.
Now, Howard, it was a very tumultuous game, and in the 25th minute, this happened. Nigel de Jong attacked Xabi Alonso, and everyone thought that's a red card, and you showed yellow. Now, in hindsight, was that the correct decision?
Clearly, I mean, the professional thing to do after the game was to look back at the entire 2 hours of play. And we do that after every game. And there was a couple of incidents that, looking back with the benefit of a different camera angle, you know, I could say should have been a different outcome. And the colour of the card, I think, having looked at that from those different camera angles, probably should have been a different colour. But from the single view that I had at the time, looking through the back of the Spanish player, I wasn't sure about the nature of the contact or how intentional the action was.
So there was a Spanish player between you and that at that moment?
Just looking through the back of the Spanish player who was kicked in that situation. And as you can see, the Dutch player as well runs across my view, and you get that one chance to call a decision. And you know, we're 25 or 27 minutes into a World Cup final, and I wasn't prepared to guess. FIFA had not said anything to me about trying to avoid red cards. They just trusted our judgment and said, "You go out and referee the game how you think it should be refereed," and you know, within the laws of the game, and that's what we tried to do.
It must be quite frustrating sometimes when you...
Afterwards.
Yeah, afterwards.
Yeah, it certainly can be. And when we watch games back and we see incidents and we think, yeah, maybe, you know, I could have called that another way. You know, it does affect you. You know, you try to learn from every situation and try to improve as you go along. But it's a strange situation because players and the media expect you to be perfect every time you cross the white line, and they also expect you to improve. Yeah. So it's quite a difficult thing to do.
Frank, you also... Frank.
Yes.
Frank. You also had some tough...
Michael.
Michael. You also had some tough decisions to make. When the United States was playing Algeria, you showed, seemingly out of the blue, a red card. The Algerian captain comes to you to complain. He gets a yellow card, then he says something, and then he gets the red card. And this gesture.
Take a shower.
Take a shower. Van der Veld. What did he say?
I didn't hear him because he had already a yellow card in the first half.
Okay.
And it was his second.
It was his second.
And then, then it's red. And then it was also in the last minute of the game.
Yeah, but why did you give him a second yellow card?
Protest.
They
were with 3-4 players coming to me. And then you know you must take one player. And he was the last one. And,
do you ever get scared of the players?
No, not really.
No?
Let's say this is a reaction, and maybe after 10, 15 seconds, it's over. When it's not over, then you have a problem. Then you know there's a player who is going a little bit strange and wrong. But normally after 10, 15 seconds, they are quiet.
So you said just now, you showed the yellow and then the red to that guy for protest.
Correct.
And you said because he was the last one of 4. What does that mean?
Let's say they are coming with 3, 4 players to you.
Yes.
It's impossible to show 4 yellow cards at that moment. At that moment, you try to wait a little bit because the anger is going out of the person at that
they're all
moment.
shouting at you.
And then you wait. When they are away, you can say, okay, no problem. But he was the last one and he was still there. And then I showed the yellow card and it was the double
they
yellow.
have to run fast and shout something and then go.
Something like this. Then I can call him back. No
Mr.
problem.
Cleese, are you the kind of supporter that shouts at your television set while watching a
No,
game?
not really. No, as an England supporter, I groan a lot.
Howard,
I know that feeling.
you know that feeling?
When you go, oh, no. It's not possible.
Again, well, we know that feeling when we watch our national team.
Then halfway through, you think, I was looking forward to this.
Absolutely. And always we're disappointed, but that's football, I guess. And one of the things as well about what you saw, it's difficult to hear the players in that situation because of the vuvuzelas. I mean,
of course.
the noise was quite different and unique. And interestingly enough, FIFA made us train every single day to the sound of the vuvuzela.
They
That's our
did.
training ground.
Each training session we had in Pretoria was with speakers and always with vuvuzelas to adapt.
Wow.
A deafening volume.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
So we went
But
to
then-
bed at night to sleep on things, as we talked about.
Then we have also the communication system also, and the vuvuzelas and so.
About that communication system. Because you have on the pitch, you have tiny earplugs to communicate with the assistant referees. Communication isn't always easy.
It's a big storm in the city. Patrick is a big storm in the city, so maybe it will come here.
I don't understand. What the fuck you
It's
talking?
raining in the city. So maybe it will come here
This
in a
is
few moments,
Frank de
because
Boer.
now it's...
It's not my problem. Shut up.
okay, but just to be prepared. Because of your...
Concentrate.
Yeah.
Ivan, please. Don't talk for nothing. Non facciamo cazzate alla fine.
This is, to be clear, this is not from the World Cup. This is from a documentary, Kill the Referee. But
Nice title.
is it hard to listen to your colleagues and concentrate and focus on the match at the same time?
It can be. It can be. The advantage we have is that we work with the same people all the time. And there's a real advantage from that because we learn how each other works and when to speak and when not to speak. And in the clip you saw there, a fourth official was advising the referee that there was some bad weather coming and that he may want to think about changing his footwear. But it's probably not the best time to do it when you're trying to make a call on a penalty situation or something. So it was well intentioned, but the radio system we have is a wonderful tool because
There's something always so funny about pure stupidity.
Right, irresistible, is it? There was some really interesting stuff in that documentary because it seems that Italian referees have some strange habits before entering the field. Howard, do English referees tend to have the same get-togethers?
Real?
Yeah,
That's real. Yeah,
that's real. That's real. Yeah.
It was like Monty Python. Kind of strange.
only in the south of England. Near to Bristol, maybe, John.
And in Belgian competition?
No, we don't do this. We keep it simple.
Alles voor het vak. Het ligt vanaf nu in de boekhandel. Thank you very much. Howard Webb, Frank de Bleeckere, John Cleese en Katja Ritsaar.